This
We'll get it.
conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so, and I don't know if you guys have noticed, but these are on the SharePoint now, which is kind of neat. So if you miss the class or have to run off in the middle, it is available to you later. All right, so let's start seated, since that's how I am. Sit. Let's sit. Well, sit whatever comfortable. You can sit cross-legged if that's best for you. If you want to sit on your knees, it's just dependent on your knees, what feels better. You can always be cross-legged with one leg out, whatever feels best. And then just take a couple breaths. Right? Just take a few moments to kind of acclimate yourself to the space, to feel the ground beneath you, to feel the support of the ground, knowing that it's there, knowing that you can trust that it will continue to be there. And then just maybe close the eyes if that's comfortable. And start to deepen the breath a little bit more. So you might have a few sighs, maybe some yawns. It's early for you guys. Maybe just waking up. Wherever you're at, just allow the breath to deepen, maybe even soften, become a little bit more smooth as you breathe, a little more regulated. So you just feel the breath in and out, constantly flowing, just like our life, right? We're constantly moving in and out, back and forth. Relax your face, relax your jaw. We often press the tongue to the roof of the mouth, so if you can soften that, let that go. Maybe even lower, separate the lower jaw from the top jaw and just move the chin side to side. You might even, if you have tightness in the jaw, or even if you don't, maybe you'll find you do more than you thought you did. Take your fingers, your index and middle finger especially, and just rub right at the top of the jaw. Go in circles or up and down, whatever feels nice. I always find when I pay attention to a certain body part that there's more tension there than I thought. It's not often we do this. Rub our jaws. We do hold a lot of tension in our faces, in our mouths, especially. We lock the jaw, we chew with our jaw, so we're always, we talk with our jaw, so we hold a lot of emotion there, a lot of tightness can build there because of whatever it is you're going through in your life. And you can let your hands come back down. Let's just come back into that breath, right? Come back into that, almost the Ujjayi breathing, the ocean sounding breath, or maybe the 3-part Dirga breath. So you're breathing all the way into the base of the belly, then into the ribs and lungs, and then into the heart, the chest. And then you release from the heart and chest, then the ribs and lungs, then the belly. And you can bring your right hand over to the side, stretch the left arm up and over to the side. You can have your eyes still closed if you're okay with that. Having the eyes closed takes away, a distraction. So having our eyes open, we see a little bit more. You might not notice the body as much, but if you prefer your eyes open, by all means, whatever works for you. And then we'll go right over to the other side, left hand down, right arm over. Notice if your jaw clenches right back up. Notice if it feels maybe a little bit looser, if you can keep the lower jaw released. And then come back up. And then if you can, come onto your knees. If you're not already, you can open your eyes. Open your knees out, so it's like we're moving down towards a child's pose, right? Untuck your toes and come down to the ground. And then you're gonna walk yourself I think we did this last week, over to the right side or left side, whichever, we do both sides. So if you're on your left side, opposite what I'm doing, it looks like you're doing what I'm doing. Plant the right hand down in the ground. Whatever arm is towards me, towards the front, towards your computer, that hand should be pressing down into the ground a little bit more. And then feel your hips sliding back and down. You still want your hips locked down or pressing down towards the ground. And then maybe let your forehead come to the ground, or your chin. And then just breathe into that side body. Get a nice deep stretch here along the whole side body. Creates a little more space for breath. And then walk your way right over to the other side. So you're going to come, just keep your hands on the ground, press over to your right side. If you're that way, you're pressing that left hand down into the ground, and then feel your hips still sliding down into the ground as well. And maybe forehead comes to the mat. And find that deep breath, right? Keep the Dirga breath going, or the Ujjayi breathing, ocean sounding breath, whatever you're comfortable with. Just breathe into the posture, breathe into the stretch, into the opening of the body, the torso. And you can walk your hands back through center. And then just let yourself stay down, right? Just right into the center. Your head is down, your chest is down, or your chin is down. Your forehead, and you'll just breathe here. Take a couple breaths into your lower back. We have some tightness in our lower back today, so maybe imagine that your breath will start with the breath flowing into the lower back, and imagining as if that breath can be like your hands massage or someone massaging your back, right? So inhale deeply into your lower back, and as you exhale, imagine as if someone is like pushing down on your lower back, and as you exhale, you're letting all of that tension just sort of slide away, release out through the breath. And then you can rise up onto your hands and knees. So we're into tabletop. Bring your knees so they're closer. They want to be hip width apart. You want them to be hip width apart. And your hands should be right underneath your shoulders, right? So we're in a tabletop. And then you'll start to shift into your cow pose. So your sits bones and your gaze lift up towards the sky. Your belly drops towards the ground. And then as you exhale, contract your belly up into your lower back. Reach your nose to your hips. Inhale, expand. Find that cow pose again. Really opening up the belly. Right? The pelvic bowl. And then as you exhale, contract lower belly up into your spine, up and towards the ceiling. Reach your nose to your hips. So you're opening up that lower back, opening up the whole back, right? Really stretching the thoracic spine, the lumbar spine up towards the sky. And then as you inhale again, open. And move at your own pace now. So find your pace, whatever that may be. Breathing with the movement. Might be a little bit faster than what I did. Maybe it's a little slower. There's no right or wrong with the pace of the breath. It's what's suited for you, whatever feels right in the moment. And then you can continue with cat and cow, or maybe you just start to move, right? Whatever feels good to you. Maybe circling the hips, maybe squeezing side to side, rotating, but keep your hands and knees on the ground. You might just find child's pose again, whatever feels like it's calling your name, right? And maybe close your eyes even, just notice, just feel it. And continue to use the breath, right? Use that breath as if it's your massager, right? Your hands or someone's hands massaging your back, massaging your side body, massaging your shoulders, your neck. Allow the breath to expand that area, come into that area and pull all the tension out, letting it release, letting it go. And then engage the core, right? So come back to a flat back, a neutral spine. Engage that belly right up into the spine, and then stretch your right leg behind you. And then stretch your left arm forward. So you're reaching from your heel to your fingertips. Keep your core engaged. If you don't engage your belly, you'll start to depend on your lower back, which will actually bring more tightness to your lower back. We don't want that. So pull the belly up and in. You're going to feel as if that right hip is extending forward as your heel is pressing back. And then you're reaching your fingers, lengthening through the fingers. Your whole body is long. Take another inhale. And then as you exhale, you're going to pull your elbow and knee together. If you struggle with balance, just lower the hand and pull the knee in. Inhale, lengthen and extend. Exhale, contract. Inhale, extend. Exhale, contract. Two more. Extend and contract. Extend. Lower the hand, pull the knee in, contract. And then you're going to step that foot forward or pop that foot forward. Come to the tips of the fingers and shift forward to a low lunge, right? So inhale, lift and lengthen the spine. Exhale, you're going to shift it back. So we're going to flow a little bit here. Inhale, move forward. Exhale, hips move back, so a half split. Inhale forward, don't worry about your spine, your structure here, just move. Gentle movements. So we're opening up the back of the leg, opening up the hips, the lower back. And come back forward to your low lunge. Lift your heart, lift your arms for a brief moment. Inhale, gentle back bend, lift the chest up towards the sky. Exhale, release, and then bring that right knee back underneath your right hip. We're going to take that same leg and lift it back up behind it, but bend the knee. Okay, so the knee is bent, the heel is up towards the sky. And then from here, you're going to open it out to the side. Call this fire hydrant pose. Imagine you're a doggy. And then lower the knee next to that left knee and then lift it back up. So open it out to the side. Your right hip will lift up a little bit. That's okay. Lower it next to that left knee. It stays lifted off the ground. And then lift it behind. Open, lower, and lift. And then we'll go the other direction. So you lower it down, then you open it to the side, and then you bring it back behind. Two more of those. And then one more. Might feel some fire building in that left hip. Straighten the leg, extend through the heel. Then you're going to cross that toe over the midline, bring it down to the ground. So you're, show you this way. Crossed over. You take an inhale here. And then as you exhale, you're going to look over your left shoulder towards your toes. So inhale, lengthen through the spine, lengthen through the crown of the head, press the floor away with the hands. And then as you exhale, pull your nose towards your toes. Inhale, hold here. Exhale, pull your nose towards your toes. Inhale, lift the leg back up. You're going to keep the leg straight this time. Inhale. As you exhale, open it to the side. Look to the right. So you're opening it out. Bring it back. Open it to the side and look over your shoulders. Bring it back. And one more time, look over the shoulders and bring it back. And then let's give that left hip a break. Maybe bring that leg behind you and shake out the hip a little bit. And then come back to a neutral spine, right? Maybe a quick cat and cow. Pull my curtains because I see the sunshine is affecting the camera. And then you're going to extend that left leg behind you. So you're pulling that core in, strong belly, lengthen through the crown of the head, and then stretch your right hand forward. So you have a long line from your fingertips to your heel, and you're looking down. So the back of the neck is also long, in line with the rest of the spine. Engage the core, pull that belly up into the spine. One more inhale, really reach, reach, reach. And then as you exhale, pull the elbow and the knee together, or just lower the hand and pull the knee in towards the nose. and then lengthen it behind. Exhale, pull it in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, pulling it in and lengthen. Exhale, pulling it in. Inhale, lengthen. And two more. Exhale. Inhale, lower the hand. Exhale, pull the knee in. Step the foot between the hands. Shift the weight forward to a low lunge. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, shift back, so a half split. You're lengthening that left leg as much as possible. It may not be very lengthened, so that's okay. And then inhale forward. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. And forward. And back. And the next time you come forward, stay in that low lunge. Give yourself one quick lift in the arms, the heart, the chest, the gaze. And then gently lower the hands. Bring that knee back behind you, hands back on the floor underneath the shoulders. Same leg lifts up, but the knee is bent this time. So engage your core. Notice you'll see if I kind of sit down in my lower back, you can see the curve in my lower back here. You want to feel that lift up here and then lift the leg. Open it out to the side, fire hydrant. Lower it just next to the right and lift it back up. Open, lower, and lift. Open, lower, and lift. And then we'll move in the opposite direction. Lower it first, then open to the side, and then back behind. Lower, open, lift. One more time. Lower, open, lift. And then lengthen that leg. You're going to cross it over the midline. Bring the toes down to the ground. Look over the right shoulder. Inhale. Lengthen through the spine, and then as you exhale, pull your nose towards the toes. You might get a nice stretch through the lower back here. You might feel it more in the side body, wherever you feel it. Breathe into it. Exhale, pull a little bit more. And then inhale, lift that leg up. Exhale, open it straight out towards your left. Look towards your toes. Bring it back behind. Open it out to the side. Bring it back behind. Let's do one more time. Open to the side. You feel that fire building in that right hip. And then lower the knee and maybe shake out that right leg a little bit. All right. So back at table, you can stretch out your wrists, maybe if you feel a little tightness there. Actually, let's do that because a lot of us are sitting at a computer, right? Sitting at a desk. So tuck your toes. Okay, tuck your toes. And maybe even make sure that those pinky toes are tucked, right? So you want all the toes tucked and then sit back on your toes. And then from here, you're going to take your, doesn't matter, let's say left finger, left pinky finger, pull the finger back and press your wrist forward. And go to the ring finger. Don't worry, we'll come off the toes. Just try to sit with it. Trust that it will end. And that it's really good for the toes to stretch the opposite direction. We're opening them up. And then that final thumb. And then you could shake out that left hand. If you really need to come off your feet for a second, bang them out and then come back. Otherwise, we'll go right to the other hand. So right pinky pulling back, wrists forward, ring finger, middle finger, there, index finger, thumb. That's really good for me, my thumbs. And then shake out your hands. Almost done with the feet. And then come up, come off the toes and bang the toes out on the ground. It's your chance for a temper tantrum. Get all that wild energy, frustration, get it out on the floor. All right, so from here, let's tuck our toes and find our way up to a downward dog. So walk your dog, right? One heel down as the other heel lifts, back and forth, up and down. Let your head and neck hang. Try to let it relax. Maybe nod the head yes, shake the head no. And then we're going to shift forward. Okay, you're going to come up, first come up onto the balls of the feet. Lift your heels so we're back to where we were a moment ago, right? Up, 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 opening up, opening up those toes, and then shift forward to a plank, right? So it's like you're going to do a push-up, but we're not going to, don't worry. And you're going to lower your knees. We're going to do a couple different ways here. Moving through our sternum scar. I'll get into that in a moment. Then you're going to lower. There's a couple different ways to do this here. Okay, so you've got your knees down. The next option would be to lower your chest and your chin and keep your elbows squeezing towards your body, right? So don't let them out. Pull them in. So your butt is kind of sticking up in the air, and then you release your hips, untuck the toes, and then lift the heart, right? Pull the elbows in. Very little weight is in the hands. We're just starting to find back bends. And then lower back to the earth. Find your way through a table. Tuck the toes. Downward dog. Next option, shift forward to a plank. Exhale, lower your knees. And then you're going to lower like you're doing a push-up, but let your torso stay straight in your hips, right? You're not sticking your butt up. So you want to come like you're doing a push-up, but with your knees down. Come right next to the floor, pull your elbows in, which is very different than a push-up, and then lower the hips, untuck the toes, lift the heart, find a little bit higher in your cobra pose. So you're pulling your elbows in towards the sides of the body. And then to come out of this, instead of lowering to the floor, rise right up using your core, your lower back to table, tuck the toes, downward dog. Final option, come forward into your plank. We move into chaturanga, which these are for folks that are a little more advanced in their practice or want to try a little more of a challenge for the arms. You're going to lower right above the ground, hover above the earth, then untuck the toes and rise up into up dog. So your legs are not on the ground, right? Just the tops of your feet are on the ground. And then lift your core, lift your hips, and then roll over your toes, or like I did, one foot at a time. Okay, so we're gonna do it one more time. Yogi's choice, whichever one you like best. Move forward, inhale. Exhale through your chaturanga or wherever you're at. Upward dog inhale or cobra. Downward dog. And then bend your knees, look towards your hands, and walk or jump if you're ready for that. Feet to hands. Inhale, hands to shins, lift and lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, slight bend in the knees, rise up to stand, lift your arms, lift your gaze. Exhale, hands to prayer. So we're going to do this a couple times. You will likely get pretty warm, so if you have an extra layer on, you might want to take it off. I'm going to take mine off. Okay. I also suggest if you have socks on, take those off so you don't slide on your mat or on your floor. So from here, step to the top of your mat. Lift your toes up wide, and then lower your big toes, pinky toes, and then all toes. Inhale, sweep your arms up, gaze up. Exhale, fold forward, swan dive forward, right nose to knees. Inhale, hands to shins, lift and lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold, bend your knees, plant your hands, yogi's choice. I'm going to show again, there's some options here. You can step the right foot back, or you can jump back, hop back, step the left foot back. Inhale. Exhale through your chaturanga or knees, chest, chin, or through your half push-up. Find your upward dog or your cobra. Downward dog. Take a few breaths here. Press your fingers into the earth. Next inhale, bend your knees, look to your hands. Exhale, you can hop, step, walk. However you want to get your feet up to the top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms out to the side and up. Exhale, hands to prayer. Let's do that again. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, fold forward, swan dive. So your arms are out to the side, your nose is lifted, so your back is strong and lengthened. Inhale, hands to shins, lift and lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold, bend your knees, plant your hands and hop, step, walk, however you want to get back to your plank. Inhale, exhale, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, upward dog or cobra, downward dog. Take a couple breaths here in your downward dog. Let your shoulders lengthen away from your ears. Let your head be heavy. And then gently bend the knees, look to your hands. Walk your feet, step, hop, jump, feet to hands. Inhale, lengthen the spine, look forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up to stand. Exhale, hands to prayer. So we're going to do a similar Surya Namaskar A, but we're going to change it into more of a Surya Namaskar B, but I will give some modifications because it's not the easiest practice. And I want this to be more of a gentle class, so do what works best for you. And those of you that are advanced in your practice and want to go a little bit deeper, by all means, go ahead. So you're going to bend your knees, shift your arms down, shift your weight back, and then lift your arms up, chair pose. As you exhale, lower your hands to the ground, straighten your legs. Inhale, bring your hands to your shins, lift and lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold, bend your knees so you're resting your ribs on the thighs, plant your hands on the earth, and jump, hop, step, walk back to your plank. Lower knees, chest, chin, knees, modified push-up, or chaturanga, upward dog, downward dog. So from here, you're going to lift that right leg up. It may just be a few inches off the ground. It may be way up, whatever feels right to you. You're going to bend that knee in, pull it in, and you're going to step it forward. You might grab that foot and pull it forward, and then maybe lower that back knee or lift it, whichever feels right for you. From here, we're moving into lunge. You're going to lift your torso and then lift your arms. So you could be here or you could be here. Okay. Wherever you're at, bend that front knee as deeply as you can. Shift your heart, lift your gaze up towards the sky. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Breathe here. And then gently lower the hands back down to the earth. Float that foot back. You may be on your knees. That's fine, wherever you're at. Knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, up dog, down dog. I find you're building a little heat in the body. Stirring the fire, we call that a kripalu. Enjoy it. It shows you that you're alive, right? You can feel your body, you can feel your breath. And then lift that left leg up. Again, maybe just be a few inches. You don't want to let the hip lift up. You want the hip lowered, right? So you want the hips parallel. But your left leg as high as you can get it. Pull that knee in, step it, foot forward. You might have the back knee lowered. And then you're going to lift up into your full lunge, crescent pose. Maybe the heart lifts, the gaze lifts, soften the shoulders down. Be wherever feels right for you. That could be hands on the ground or on the thigh or on the ground, whatever feels like the right posture for you today. And every day is different. Some days are a little looser, some days are a little tighter. Some days we're a little more flexible, some days we're not. And then you're going to lower that hand. One last time, bring the leg back. We're moving into chaturanga. You can also do knees, chest, chin. Find your cobra or your upward dog. Downward dog. Take 5 deep breaths here. If you're tired, you need a break and you want to be in child's pose, it's a wonderful option. Next inhale, bend the knees, look to the hands. Exhale, hop, step, jump, feet forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold, bend your knees deeply, rest the ribs on the thighs, chair pose, lift the heart. Exhale, deepen. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lower hands to prayer. Take a breath. Maybe a sip of water, which I need. All right. We're going to do a little bit deeper for our shoulders and ultimately our backs. Bend your knees. Rest the ribs, or not the ribs, rest the arms down, and then shift back up to chair pose. You're going to bring your hands back to prayer and then twist. So look over your right shoulder. You might even lower that left elbow to the outside of the right knee, or you might be lifted here. Just twist. Feel that opening in the heart. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, bend the knees. Hands back to prayer. Twist the other way. Maybe again, that right elbow to the outside of that left knee, or maybe keep the torso lifted. And then inhale, gently rise. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen the spine, hands to shins. Exhale, fold, bend your knees, and float your left foot back. So we're going to lower the knee this time. Again, if you want more, you can always lift that back knee up. I'm going to take it easy. It's Friday. I need my weekend to refuel myself to get into my more fiery practice. So lift the torso. You're going to open your arms out to the side. And then right leg is in front. You're going to let your left arm come underneath your right, or right arm on top of your left, and then cross your hands. So you're kind of twisting, right? You're here, and then you're twisting up and around. If that's not an option, bring your hands to your shoulders, okay? And then deepen a little bit more into the lunge, okay? So you really let your hips forward. You might release the back toes, so you find a little bit more of an opening in that hip. And then from here, lift your heart, and then maybe start to lift your elbows just a little bit. Even if you're here, lift the elbows a little bit. You'll feel a bit of a deeper stretch in the shoulders, in the upper back. And engage that core, and then find a little back bend. Lift your heart. Be careful here. Be slow. Be mindful. Listen to your body. If it's too much, come out of it. Come into where it works. Maybe no back bend. And then bring your hands to your shoulders if you hadn't already. Deepen a little more into the lunge. Release the arms up. And then bring your hands down. Lift that back knee. And you're going to switch. You can scissor switch if you want to switch your feet really quickly. Or you might step one foot forward and then the other foot back. So left foot is in front. And then lower that back. Again, your back knee can be lifted if that's more suitable for your practice today. Arms lift up. Your left knee is in front. Your left arm is going to cross over the right or right underneath left. Cross that hand over, maybe take the shoulders or wrap the hands around. This is eagle arms, right? Eagle pose. And then shift a little bit further forward in your lunge. So we're opening up that back hip. Finally, maybe lift your heart, lift your gaze, lift your arms. So you're really opening up the shoulders, using your core, your lower back to support your body here. Deepen a little bit more into that lunge. One more breath. And then bring your hands to your shoulders. Deepen even further. Arms lift. Exhale, hands to prayer. Down to the ground. And then lift that back knee. Ooh, and you're going to step that back foot forward. Inhale, hands to shins, lift and lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold. And then just heel toe your feet out so they're hip width apart. You're going to stay in this forward fold for a little bit. Bring your hands to opposite elbows. Your knees can be slightly bent, and then breathe into your back body. And just notice where in the back you feel things. You might feel a little bit of a release. You might feel you're holding yourself, right? We generally hold our abs here. Try to let your stomach go, right? Let your stomach relax so that your back can relax a little bit more and lengthen a little bit. Imagine as if you're creating a little space, a little more space between each vertebrae. Deep breath. Notice what it's like to just stop moving for a little bit. Just breathe. And then release the arms and roll up. All the way to standing. Shoulders down and back. Lengthen the spine. So if your feet are hip width apart, they are. Open them again. Intertwine the fingers behind you. Inhale, lift the spine, lift the heart. Exhale, come over. Your fingers are intertwined behind you. Your hands will come up and over. Just let your arms be heavy now. We focused on letting the core release so that your back can relax. Now try to let your arms relax. We got so much tension in our shoulders, our head, our neck, our backs. And then start to lift, rolling up with the head. Bring the feet back together, and you're going to step your right foot back. Arms out into a T. You're going to cross the right arm underneath the left. Come back to eagle arms. Okay, so you can be here too. Hands on shoulders, wherever is right for you. Bend a little deeper into that front knee, and you're going to step forward onto that left leg and cross the right leg around. You might tuck the right toes around the calf. You might bring the toes down onto the ground. I'll face you so you can see what I'm doing. Lift your elbows up and then deepen, maybe come a little forward with your torso. So this is eagle pose. You want to imagine that you're flying over a mountain, right? You're an eagle soaring over the mountain, looking down at the beautiful earth, deepening the breath, relaxing the body, the mind, relaxing the mind. And then rise up, uncross the legs, lift the arms, exhale, release hands next to the body. Left leg steps back, arms out to the side, left arm underneath right. Bend into that right knee, cross the left leg up and over. I'll face you so you can see. Maybe toes are on the ground so you can play with your balance. Maybe the toes are wrapped around. I cannot wrap around with this foot. And then lift your elbows up, right? So you're lifting and lengthening, maybe extending through the crown of the head, and then you slightly bow forward if that's okay for you. Deep breath. And then release that leg. Uncross the arms, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold, ribs on the thighs. Walk your way down like you're moving to a table, but lower your knees. And then sit back on your toes, like we did earlier. So your toes are tucked. So from here, we're going to stand up on the knees. Okay. So you're going to bring your hands to your lower back. Squeeze your elbows towards each other. And then lift your heart, gentle back bend. Lift your gaze up. And then start to press your hips forward a bit. Let your chest extend up towards the sky a bit more. And then let your head lengthen back. It's probably just extending straight back behind you, or diagonally back behind you. If you're comfortable with this and your heel is close, bring your right hand down to your right heel. Another option, left hand to your left heel. And final option here would be to let your head relax. Wherever you are, stay there, breathe there. If you're down, bring one hand to your lower back, the other hand to your lower back. Your head should be lifted. Sorry, I should have said that. And then engage your core to rise up, untuck the toes, and then just sit back for a moment. We're gonna do this one more time before we go into a stretch the opposite way for the back. So just breathe for a moment. Just notice, maybe close your eyes and just notice the blood flow to the spine. You might find it's a little bit stronger. Might be a little bit more aware of it. Notice if you don't feel anything, that's fine too. If you don't feel anything, maybe we should go a little deeper into it. So you're gonna rise back up, right? Tuck your toes. Bring your hands to your lower back. Lengthen through the spine, inhale, and then gently press your hips forward. And then this time we're gonna bring the left hand down first. Maybe just the left hand comes down. Maybe the right hand comes down too. Maybe the head releases back. If you find this is super easy, come back up and lower the heels and then come down. Relax your jaw. And then bring that right hand up. Lift your head. Bring the left hand up. Lift your torso. And then you're going to sit back onto your heels and tuck the toes if they were tucked. Bring your knees together. This is rabbit pose that we're going to do. This is a little bit unusual, so you might want to look at me first. Come a little closer. So you're going to bring your forehead, I hope you guys can see me, to my knees, your knees. And then hold your heels with your hands. And then lift your hips. So your top of your head is on the ground. You can give that a try. So again, you're sitting on your knees. You lower your forehead to your knees, hands to your heels, and then hold onto your heels with your hands and lift up onto the top of your head. This is such a nice opener for your whole spine, especially those shoulders, neck, lower back. And then lower your hips and rise up. You might find that the blood has rushed to your head, so take a moment. Okay. And you can stay seated. You can sit down and bring the balls of the feet together, the bases of the feet together. Balls of the feet, heels of the feet, arches of the feet together, hands to the ankles, and lift your heart. Right, lengthen through the spine. So you want a long, long, long back. Generally, when we're sitting here, we're kind of hunched over like this, like we do probably at our desks a lot. You want to lengthen and lift as much as you can. It'll keep you in old age. It'll keep a nice open posture. It'll also keep your heart open so you don't become closed and tight and uncomfortable and you don't hunch over. So let your chest extend forward, right? So you're moving, start to bow forward, but keep your chest pressing forward. And just come as far as you can, maybe an inch. And then maybe move your elbows onto your inner thighs, maybe bring your hands onto your inner thighs, press open your hips a bit more, your knees open. And then your back you will round and let yourself come down all the way, maybe chin down towards the knees or your forehead, or excuse me, your feet, maybe your forehead to your feet. You can also bring your forearms to the ground. And then rise back up, lift the torso. And then you're going to come onto the center of your mat with your hips. And then rise up, right? We're going to move into our usual boat pose before we come all the way down. Lift your heart, lengthen your spine, lengthen the feet. Maybe lengthen the legs, maybe not. Use your core, right? This is all coming from your belly. So you're not rounding your spine. You're not like this. You want to really extend and reach and form a V. Hands underneath the knees. You can roll back, pull your knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice little squeeze. Let's flex the feet, hands to the outer arches of the feet, happy baby pose. Rock back and forth. Whenever I roll my yoga mat out, my son comes right over, my 1-year-old, and does downward dog, and then he rolls onto his back and does happy baby pose. Definitely a happy baby. And then you're going to bring those knees back into your chest. Lower your left foot down and then cross your right ankle over the left knee. Then you're going to weave that right arm through and intertwine your fingers behind that left knee and give yourself a nice squeeze. Your left foot can stay bent or flexed. And you might even rock side to side. Notice where you feel things. Direct your breath to those areas in the body where you feel tension, where you feel tightness. And try to let it go, right? Any discomfort, just try to let it soften away, melt away. And then release the hands, left leg back to the ground. Pull the right knee now into the right shoulder, lower the left leg so it's straight on the ground. Cross the right arm over to a T, let it come onto the ground. Left hand is on the knee. You're going to cross the knee over the midline into a twist. So you're looking to the right. You're looking over to that right hand. Your left knee is as close to the ground as it can be, but more important is the right shoulder is on the ground. If that right shoulder pops up, place it back down. The knee will lift. That's okay. Maybe close the eyes, take a few breaths. Try to let all that tension in the lower back just melt, right? Let it go. We're imagining here that your spine is a sponge and we're squeezing it out. We're getting rid of all that dirty water, all that anxiety, all that tension from our current happenings outside in this pandemic. Letting all of that fear just melt away, giving yourself a few moments, even if just a few moments of some time of letting go, being with yourself, feeling good. And then bring that knee back up through center. Ooh, and maybe just open it out to the right a little bit. And then place the foot on the ground and lift that left leg up and cross the ankle over the right knee. You're going to weave your left arm through your inner thighs, intertwine the fingers behind your right knee, and then pull that right knee towards the torso. And maybe just move side to side, maybe be still, whatever feels right for you. Relax your jaw, your tongue. And then you can release. Bring your left knee into your torso, lengthen that right leg on the ground, right arm around the left knee, left arm opens to the side in a T, and then cross that knee over. Left shoulder stays planted, knee releases over to the right, and you'll look to the left. So you're in full spinal twist by looking to the left. Slow the breath down. And then bring that knee up and in. Pull it into the torso, maybe open it out to the side a bit, to the left side. And then give yourself one final squeeze. You're going to pull your knees into your chest. Rock, you can circle, do whatever feels good. If there's any last posture calling your name, feel free to find it. And then what I'm going to recommend is to come to a wall if you have it for Shavasana. If you don't, you can just come straight down, lying down. If you have a wall, go up to the wall. Get your bottom as close to the wall as you can, and then lift your legs up the wall. Creep your sits bones as close to the wall as you can. Let your legs just hang out on the wall and let your arms relax. Lengthen the back of the neck and then close the eyes. And then just take a few moments here, several moments here. We're going to sit here. This is our Shavasana. If you'd rather be flat on the ground, that's a perfect option. Turn your palms up so you're really open and receptive to whatever you receive during this resting period of your yoga. Trusting that all the postures, the twists, the stretching, the opening, the tightening, the expansions we've done will serve your day, serve your resting period. So give yourself time to just be, so you can integrate all that you just did into the body. Allow your mind to rest. Imagine as if your whole brain can be heavy and sink into the back of the skull. You can just let it all go. And as you're ready to begin to wake up, start to wiggle your toes and your fingers, reawakening the body. You can stretch the arms overhead and stretch fingertips to toes. If your feet are on the wall, you can just let your knees bend, let your feet slide along the wall, and find your way over to a fetal position. And then feeling the support of the earth, find your way up to a seated position, rising up with the torso, bringing your hands to your knees, facing up or down, and close the eyes. And reconnect with the breath. Perhaps finding an intention for your day, whether that be to get outside, to smile a little bit more, to find the joy in things, whatever it may be. Just repeat that intention a couple of times in your mind like a mantra. And we'll bring the hands to Anjali Mudra, to prayer pose, connecting the thumbs to the heart center, lifting the chest, softening the shoulders, lengthening the back of the neck. And just finding a sense of gratitude for your practice, for showing up. A sense of gratitude for each other here in this virtual space, practicing together. A sense of gratitude for our community, our work community, our community around us where we're living. Even if we can't be close to one another. Namaste. Thank you guys for coming. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, take care.
You too. Bye.